Good morning everyone, welcome to day 3 of your Rise and Shine yoga mini series. So hopefully you guys are getting on okay. Today I've got a heart opening flow for you. So that's why it's called Let Love In. So we're going to get really into this heart space, open up, and they're also backbends, and backbends give us energy as they energize our nervous system. So perfect little flow to do in the morning. So when you guys are ready, we're going to start lying down. So just starting off in the Shavasana. So palms are facing up towards the sky, the chin's tucking slightly towards the chest. Just invite you to start connecting to your breath. So you don't need to make any changes as such, just start to feel the belly rise and fall on each inhale and exhale. On your next inhale, I'd like you to bring your hands to a cactus beside your head. So you might need to make more room for the shoulder blades to come together, and this is going to open up the heart space a little bit. So just coming into a really gentle back bend here. On your next inhale, I'd like you to bring the soles of your feet down to the mat beneath you. And then we're going to do some little bridge lifts here. So we'll let the arms go out by the side. So just first of all, make sure you can touch your heels with your fingertips. This is going to get us in the right distance. And then as we breathe in, lift the hips and the arms are going to come up overhead. And then exhale, come down, lower each vertebra at a time until the hips come down. Then we'll lift the hips back up and the arms go up overhead on the inhale. And then exhale, let the hips go down. We'll do this once more. Lift the hips up and the arms go up overhead. And then lower the hips down to the mat and the arms down to the mat. And we're just going to hug the knees right into the chest. Have a little rock. And then we're going to make our way up to seated. So we'll just do a little rock and roll. So you can do a couple until you come to a cross-legged position on your mat. So once you're in your comfortable seated position, we're going to start with some side stretches. So we're just going to bring the left hand down, sweep the right hand up. But as we're getting into that heart space, I really want you to draw your heart open up to the sky here. And then we'll come down to the other side, lowering the right hand down, the left hand comes up, and again, really pulling that heart space up, gazing up to your left hand. And then coming back through center. Then we're going to round the back as if we're going into a cat position, push the body back, and then round the arms forward. Then we're pulling the elbows towards one another, opening up through that heart space into cactus arms. Then we'll round the back into cat. And then pull the arms all the way back, open up through the heart space. We'll do this one more time, draw that energy around. And then push your heart forward, pulling the shoulder blades towards one another behind your back. Then we're going to just allow the hands to interlock behind our back, pull them away from us as the heart comes forward. And then if it feels okay to you, you can drop the head back. And then gently release. Maybe just give the shoulders a little wiggle. Then we're going to come to our hands and knees. So we're going to come to some cat-cows here. but we're going to really exaggerate the movement. So I'm just going to ask you to widen the knees a little bit, and then we're going to dip forward and then lift the spine. So we're starting off really deep. So we're going forward nice and low, and then pushing into our cat. Dipping the hips back, the body comes low, the heart comes forward, up, round into cat. Again, shift the body weight forward into cow, and then push up through the hands to round the back. We'll do this once more, push the body weight forward, and then back into our cat. Then we'll just come to neutral. So keep the knees nice and wide. Let the hips sink all the way back onto the heels, and the arms are coming down nice and long in front. So if you can, I invite you to bring your chin down to the mat, but also, as most of you are doing this in the morning, this might not be accessible for you yet, so just rest your forehead down. On your next inhale, we're going to lift the hips up, and then we're just going to walk the hands further forward. So we're coming to our melting heart position. So the heart is coming all the way down to the mat, but it doesn't have to reach. The hips are staying nice and high here, and we're getting really, really deep into the back here. So if you like to, you can come up onto the fingertips and then push the heart space down. And then slowly ease the body out of the posture. So now we're going to push up to our downward facing dog. So spread the fingertips out nice and wide. So because we're focusing on heart opening and back bends, I'd like you to come into using a back bend. So as you tuck the toes under, keep the belly dip down, and the tailbone's going to go up and the heart's going to shift back. So it can take a few goes to get used to that, so we'll try it a few more times throughout the practice. So in our downward facing dog, I really want you to focus on pushing your heart towards the back of the mat. So to do this, you want to come high up on the toes, and then you push the heart down, and then you can start to sink the heels, but you don't need to lower the heels. We're going to lift the right leg up nice and high, and then bend the knee and point it towards the head. It doesn't need to come anywhere near. It's just a gesture of where it is heading. So you can come up nice and high onto the left toes. It's going to give you a little bit more space to open up in the back, and then you can lift the head up. And then lower that leg down. And then we'll repeat this on the other side. So lifting the left leg up nice and high, pointing the toes towards the head, and then the heart space comes up and open. And then lower that leg down. Come back to your downward facing dog. And then we're going to do a little flow from downward facing dog to upward facing dog. So again, this can take a few tries to get right. So just see how you get on. So we push into the hands, the body weight comes forward. As we get to a plank, we then lower the hips down, keep the shoulders up for now, and then as you lower, then you roll the shoulders back down the spine and then push up through the hands. So the toes are staying tucked under in our upward facing dog. So if you need to lower the knees or the thighs, then please do. Then we're coming back to our downward facing dog, so we're leading with the bum. So the bum goes up first, push through the hands. Back to downward facing dog. We'll do this again, so shift the body weight forward. As the body weight comes forward into plank, keep the shoulder blades up, then we dip the hips down. As we go down, we roll the shoulder blades away from the ears, then push back up through the hands. Then leading with the tailbone, push it all the way up to the sky, and then the hips follow. Maybe taking a nice long releasing breath here. And feel free to walk out the legs if you need to. This time we're shifting forward to plank. And then as we drop the hips, we'll roll the shoulders back, untuck the toes so the thighs are on the mat. So we've come down to our cobra pose here. Then we're just going to lower ourselves all the way down to the mat. We're going to bring our fingertips to the outside edges of the mat. We want to really push our legs down, and they're tight together like a snake. Then we're going to push through the upper body, roll the shoulders back, and then maybe dropping the head back, and then we'll roll the body back down towards the mat. We'll do this again, so push through the fingertips, roll the shoulder blades back, the heart space comes up, and then roll yourself down, and then we'll do this again. Push through the fingertips, roll the shoulder blades down, heart space coming up, and then lower all the way down to the mat. Then we'll just bring our hands in front of our face, and then you just wiggle the hips from side to side. And we'll bring the hands back to the body. We're going to tuck under the toes, and then we're going to push back to downward facing dog. So this time in our downward facing dog, we're lifting the right leg up. As we lift the right leg up, we're going to bend the foot again, and then we're going to test our balance here. So we're going to come up onto the fingertips of the left hand. This might be enough for you today, and it's absolutely fine. It's already very challenging. If you can, you want to see if you can grab your right foot and then kick into the hand. And then gently release. So no worries if you fell out of it. See if you get better with the left side. So lifting the left leg up this time, bending that foot, the knee, and then come up onto the fingertips of the right hand, and then reaching for that left foot. And then gently release. Amazing for any of you that did that. It's a very tricky posture, especially if you're doing this in the morning. So we'll just bend into one knee and then the other. I'm going to come to a low lunge here. So we're going to draw that right knee into the chest, step it in between the hands, lower the left knee. As we come up, we're going to lift up the arms, and then we're going to cactus them like we did in our seated position. So we're pulling the shoulder blades towards one another, pushing that heart space forward. Then we're lifting the hands up. And then we're going to do this to the right side. So pull the shoulder blades towards one another, turning to the right. And then lift the hands up. Then we're going to lower the left hand down. Keep the right hand up so we're in our easy twist. And then we're going to reach our hand all the way over to the left side of the mat, really opening up through that heart space. You can even come onto the outside edge of the right foot, and it's just going to create a little bit more space in the hips too. Then we're going to reach the hand forward, and then we'll repeat this. So draw the shoulder blades towards one another. And then one more time, reach that right hand all the way forward, and then pull it back. And then come back through center. We're going to transition to plank, so pushing firmly through both hands. Pick up the left knee, and then bring the right to meet the left in our plank. Then we're going to shift the hips back to downward facing dog. Then we're going to come to upward facing dog again, but we're going to see if we can do it with one leg lifted. So you're welcome to use both legs, but if you want to challenge yourself, we're going to lift the right leg up, and then we're going to push the body weight forward as we did before. As we come forward, the hips come down, the heart comes up, seeing if we can keep that right foot lifted. Then lower that leg down, lower the body down, all the way down to the mat. Push through the hands, roll the shoulder blades down the spine, come up to cobra. Then we'll lower the body back down, push through the hands back to downward facing dog. And then we'll repeat that little flow on the other side. So we're drawing the left knee into the chest, stepping it in between the hands, lowering that right knee down to the mat. Lift the hands up high and then draw the shoulder blades together into cactus. Then we'll draw the arms up, then we're twisting to the left side, so pulling the shoulder blades together. Then we'll come back through centre. Sink those hips down a little bit. Then we're going to lower the right hand down to the mat, keeping that left hand up nice and high. Then we're going to draw the left hand to the back, and as we do this, we can come onto the outside edge of the left foot. So we're pulling that left hand back. Then we're reaching forward with that left hand, and then open up and pull it back. And then draw it forward, and then pull it back. Then we're coming back through centre. Then we're transitioning back to plank, so we're tucking under the right toes, lifting up the right knee, and then drawing that left leg around to meet the right, and then shift the hips back to downward facing dog. So we're going to do that little flow to upward facing dog again on the other side. So this time we're lifting up the left leg, shifting the body weight forward. As we come forward, we then lower the hips down. The heart space comes up. Then we can lower that leg down. Lower the thighs down and then push up to cobra. Then we'll lower the body down, push the hips back, and we'll find a wide legs child's pose. So just lowering the hips to the heels. And then the forehead comes down to the mat. So now in our child's pose, we're going to lift the hips up, find our downward facing dog. And then we're making our way to the top of the mat, so you can walk, step or jump. Come to halfway lift, so we're bringing the hands to the shins, the heart comes forward. Then we'll lower back down to forward fold. Then we're going to come back to halfway lift, so bring the hands to the shins, the heart comes forward. And then lower yourselves back down to a forward fold. Then we're going to bring ourselves all the way up to standing. The arms come up nice and high, all the way up to the sky. And then we're going to come straight into a back bend here. And then exhale, forward fold all the way down. So we're going to lead with the heart. The arms come out and then the hands come all the way down. And then you can maybe bend into one knee and then the other. Then we're going to sink the hips down. And then as we come up, bending to the knees, sinking into our chair posture, so the hands are coming up nice and high. Then we're transitioning to our warrior one. So our right foot is going all the way back, nice and long and controlled. Turn the back foot on a 45-degree angle. And then we can draw the hands back up, bend deeply into that left knee, arms all the way up to the sky. So here we're going to cactus the arms again, so we're drawing the arms all the way down, shoulder blades drawing towards one another, and then we're going to flow here, so we're going to reach the hands forward, and then draw the shoulder blades back together. And then we'll do this again, sweep the arms forward, draw the arms to cactus. Then we're going to reach the hands all the way up. Then we're going to interlock them behind our back. So roll the shoulder blades down the back of the spine. Interlock the hands together. Pull them down towards the mat. The heart space comes up. And then the body comes forward on the inside of the left knee if you can make it there. Then we're going to reverse our warrior, so we're sweeping that left hand all the way up and over. The right hand comes back down to the right leg, and then bend deeper into the left knee, and then open that arm back overhead. Then we're coming to our side angle pose, so our left elbow is coming to the left knee. The right hand comes up high, and then you can sweep it over the head. So either staying in this variation of your side angle pose, or you can bring the left hand down to the mat and then sweep the right hand up overhead. And then maybe come to a bind, but only if you have it in your practice, because this is going to open up the heart space even more. Then we're going to frame that front foot. Lower that back knee down. Lift the hands up. And then this time we're going to lower the left hand down to the left edge of the mat. You might need a block or just something to prop your hand on if you can't reach. And then the right hand comes up and over towards the left side. So it's going to get deep into that heart space. And then come forward, frame that front foot, tuck the back toes under, step back to plank. Then we'll lower the body all the way down to the mat. This time we're going to zip our feet together, and then we're going to lift our feet off of the mat, and then see if you can lift the hands off the mat too, and then maybe bring them alongside. Then release the hands and the legs down to the mat, tuck the toes under, push up to downward facing dog. And then we'll make our way to the top of the mat, so bending through the knees, jump between the hands into our forward fold. Then we're sweeping the hands up, sit back in your chair, all the weight is in the heels, the hands come up nice and high. So we'll repeat this on the other side, so the left foot is going straight all the way back, stepping into our warrior one. The arms are coming up high. Then we're drawing the shoulder blades together into our cactus. Then we'll sweep forward. Lift up the arms, pull the shoulder blades together, the heart space comes forward. We'll repeat this. Sweep the arms forward, bending into that front knee, then draw the elbows together behind you into cactus. Last time, sweep forward, arms up, and then pull them together. Then we're coming into our humble warrior, so we'll draw the hands behind the back, interlock the hands, pull the shoulder blades together, the arms come down towards the back of the mat, and then we're folding forward on the inside of the right knee. Lifting those arms up overhead here. Then we're transitioning straight to our reverse warrior. So release the grip. The right hand comes up and the left hand comes down. Sweep backward. Then we'll transition to side angle, so the right elbow is coming to the right knee. The left hand sweeps up and high. Really drawing that heart space open up to the sky. Lower the right hand down, the left hand comes up, and then if you have the bind, then you're more than welcome to bind the hands together, as this is just going to open up through the chest space a little bit deeper. Then we'll frame that front foot. We're coming into this open heart low lunge variation, so the arms come up, the right hand comes down to the right side edge of the mat, and then the left hand draws up and open, leaning over to the right side. This is quite an advanced posture, so if you need a block, then don't worry, just grab it and place it underneath the right hand. Then we'll just frame that front foot, tuck the back toes under, lift the left knee off, then the right foot's coming to meet the left in our plank. Then we're lowering all the way down to the mat. Push up through cobra so the shoulder blades are coming down the spine. Lower the body down. And then we'll push back the hips and then come to find a downward facing dog. So then we want to all meet at the top of our mat. So we're going to bend the knees, look between the hands, jump to the top. Come to half forward fold. And then we're sinking the hips back and coming back to our chair. The arms are coming up high. And then we'll come up through standing. So now we're going to come to a balancing posture. So we're going to try dancer. We're going to do an active version and a passive version. So in our active version, we're going to firmly root our left leg first. Lift up the right. As we lift up the right leg, the arms come towards the back. And we're just using our strength and mobility to push ourselves into dancer. And then release. And then we'll do that on the other side, so pushing firmly through the right foot. The left knee bends, the arms come back, and the heart comes forward. And then release the leg. So now we'll come to our passive version, which I find considerably easier because we're not using the muscles to hold ourselves in the position, we're using the grip of our hand. So we're picking up the right foot, so you can choose to grab the outside or the inside. I prefer the inside, but it's totally your choice. We'll come to Kali Mudra, and then we'll push into the back foot, and then the body comes forward. So this will do a counterbalance. As we kick back, the body comes forward. And then slowly trying to release with control, so exiting the same way you came in. So we'll do that on the other side. So grabbing your foot, so choosing if you want the outside or the inside grip. Bring your hand to the mudra and then kick into that foot. As you kick, the torso comes forward, and then you have this counterbalance happening. And then slowly release with control. And then we'll just come standing. Then we're going to come to a wide leg stance, and we're going to work through a little goddess and Padottanasana flow. So we'll start in our goddess, so we're sinking down into the hips. The toes are pointing to the front edges of the mat. And then we're going to bring the hands straight up into cactus here. Then we're going to round the back like we did at the start into cat, and then draw the arms open. And then one more time. And then draw the hands open. Then as we come up, we're lifting the legs up, we're turning the toes in, and then we're folding forward into our Padottanasana. So you can have your hands on the mat, you can have your hands grabbing the ankles, and then just pull yourself into the forward fold. Then we're going to release by coming into our goddess. So we're going to bring the hands to heart center. Then we're going to turn the heels inwards, bend into the knees, lift the hands up towards the sky. And then bring them back through heart center. And then push up, come to standing, maybe just wiggle out the hips a little bit. And then we'll come to stand at the top of the mat. So we'll inhale the hands up, and then we'll come into a back bend here. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Stepping back to downward facing dog here. So again, trying to keep that heart space opening, so coming up high onto the toes, push the heart down towards the mat. Then we're going to do this flow to upward facing dog. So if you didn't get it at the start, you might be able to get it now. Shift the body weight forward. As we come forward, we then lower the hips down. Roll the shoulder blades down the spine, and the heart comes up. Then leading with the hips come back, tailbones comes up high, coming back to our downward facing dog. So we're going to come to pigeon here. So we're drawing the right knee into the chest, it comes across the body. So we're going to come to a back bend here in our pigeon. So we're walking the fingertips back. If you need a block under your right sit bone, it's going to help you stay upright. Draw the fingertips back and the heart comes up. And then gently release. We'll just transition back to our downward facing dog, so pushing through the hands to get there. And we'll do the same on the other side, so drawing that left knee in across the body. The hips come down, use the fingertips to prop yourself up, and then draw them behind you, opening up through the heart space. Shoulder blades roll down the spine. Then we bring the hands in front, push back to downward facing dog. And then we're just going to jump to seated, so bend through the knees, look between the hands until the bum finds the mat, and then we'll just lower down, so we'll just engage the core a little bit. Hands out in front, and roll the body down towards the mat. So we're going to come to bridge pose here. So we did this, a little variation of this at the start. We're going to hold this one, so we're going to make sure we can touch our fingertips against the heels. Push the hips up nice and high, and then walk the shoulder blades in towards one another, pushing the hips up all the way to the sky. And then release the hips down to the mat. Hug the knees in just for a second, maybe rocking from side. So you're more than welcome to take that variation again, or we're going to come to our full wheel. But just be careful, if your full wheel isn't in your practice, then please don't do it today for the first time, just come back to the previous variation. If full wheel is in your practice, then we'll prepare the same. So making sure our fingertips can touch touch the heels, hands to the sides of the head, and then push up, nice and slowly. Just be gentle with yourself, especially if you're doing this first thing in the morning. And then slowly release the body down. Then we'll just hug the knees in for a second, and then we're just going to let them come out all the way to down to the mat, so we're ending as we started in Shavasana. So chin's tucking slightly to the chest, the palms are facing upwards. And again, just check in with the breath, maybe give yourself a little quick body scan, and just release any noticeable areas of tension that you might be holding on to. So you are more than welcome to stay here for longer, and I highly recommend it. If you are finishing with me, then you can start to bring awareness back to the body by wiggling the fingers and the toes or rocking the head from side to side. Just doing any little movements to wake yourself back up. And we'll stretch the arms up overhead, point the toes, make yourself into its longest, deepest expression, maybe coming to a yawn here. Then in your own time, pulling the knees into the chest, and then we'll make our way up to seated. So you can rock up or you can rock to one side, use your arm as a pillow. And then keeping the eyes closed, come to seated. Find a comfortable position on your mat. And we'll just finish with a nice, long, deep inhale, and then exhale by sighing everything out through the mouth. So inhale, and the arms come up to the sky. And exhale. Namaste. Thank you everyone for flowing with me today, and congratulations on completing day 3 if you are taking part in the series. So yeah, more exciting stuff to come for Thursday and Friday. So have a lovely day, and I'll see you guys on the mat tomorrow. Bye.